Hello. Today we are going to introduce you Mr. Padmanava Sen. Padmanava, welcome. Padmanava is a group leader for a scientist group in Germany, one of the renowned institute. We together wrote a chapter in a very interesting book which is recently published in Springer, led by two senior scientists will come across in our discussions. So welcome Padmanava.
Thank you, Shankar. Today we have with us Mr. Shankar Haldar. He is a founder of Mukti. We are going to talk about Mukti and the work that Mukti is doing. And now let's start on our discussion.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. So Padmanava, I already told to our audience that we are going to discuss about the book, right? So if you can put some light on it, what the book is all about, and about our senior editors.
Yes. So it's editors are Professor Pradeep and Rajib. And the name of the book is Technology, Entrepreneurship and Sustainable Development. And it discusses about the recent trends, advances and challenges and solutions, as well as the future potential in this field. And it covers from Europe to Asia to America and around the world. It discusses about all these different in 17 chapters. It talks about all these different aspects of it. And we have written one of the chapters, and maybe Shankar, you can talk more about the chapter.
Yeah, so this book is more about whatever the technology and the sustainable development is the focus. But the chapter which we wrote, me and Padmanava, that was mostly focusing on the sustainable development using the holistic education approach. Of course, the technology is underneath. So we are going to discuss that. How we approach in our writing is we first describe in Sundarban whatever the problems we are facing, and then what are the challenge these problems, how we have overcome using educational program. And as he said, I founded Mukti. So in Mukti organization, not only we have thought on it, but also we have worked on it throughout decades, more than a decade, 18-20 years, and we got result. So we thought we will be putting our approaches over there academically, so that people can have a look what is going on there in the Sundarban using educations. So and in the book also we discussed that Asha for Education, one of the organizations which normally helped Mukti at the beginning, at the inception stage, and Padmanava was also a member of the Asha for Education from US. I met him over there in US, and most of our educational development program actually helped by or funded by Asha for Educations. So would you like to add anything, or should I go in depth of the chapters?
I just want to mention that it was a very big learning experience for me, because I know Shankar for almost 14 years now. But I was not there when Mukti was founded, right? So knowing the motivation, how Mukti was formed and how Mukti started working on different educational aspects and then grew beyond the educational aspects, right? So that was a big learning experience for me. Even if I, work with you for last decades, but this starting point I didn't know. So I know more about it when we were writing about it. And that helped me a lot to realize, the challenges that you had like 20 years back or so.
Yeah, so yeah, he rightly said, I born and brought up in Sundarban Island, so I've been through the problem. And when we are trying to intervene in Sundarban, then we found the problem was multiple phases. So where to start and how to address, we are clueless. Especially when we made a survey at that time, and then Padmanava, we came to know we only around 20% is the education rate at that time, right? And then we thought for any development, whatever we are doing, it cannot sustain unless the people are educated and aware to hold the development part, and unless they are not developing for themselves, it cannot sustain, right? So that is the whole approach. That's why we started our most of our project or intervention in the education area, especially starting from the beginners, smaller kids, and gradually we have come up across many. Padmanava, as you know, this we have Kichla support school. It's mean for class 1 to 4. We are giving them the gamifications of their study, how playfully they can learn. Normally, it's a dream for a remote area like Sundarban, right? So that's one of the program we are dealing. And then when they are passing class 4 to 5 and 5 to 10 also, most of our parents are actually first generation. They cannot support their kids at home, and quality of teachings and the school infrastructure, everything also is compromised. So to address that, extra supplementary education program, support school, Mukti support school we started, and I still can remember it was kind of one of the flagship projects from 2005, and still Asha is supporting it. It's quite a large now, and it's covering more than 10,000 kids are now in today in across West Bengal. It's spread up now. So they are doing bottom pyramid kids who are from the first generation learner. They are getting extra coaching support, and of course, and in addition to that, a book bank project we started that textbook, a handful of textbook can be supported to them as a book loan, and they will return after 1 year. That was also merged together. And then when they are passing from the island, they are coming to colleges and universities in city, right? So that time they need a support like their fooding, lodging, and their educations. It's not possible for the poor parents, so we started kind of a sponsorship programs. And so sponsorship programs normally take care for entire period 3 to 4 years. If someone studying medical or engineering, so entire year will be sponsored by one person, and so more than 1,500 people now got established as engineers and doctors. It's a huge number now. And but we realize after doing this, as a large number of kids was joining the program, but they were dropping out. And in the program, we widen the pyramid. Nowadays, the education rate 2 years before we made a survey, and the survey shows that the education rate is more than 60%. So we made significantly progress over there. But as a result, a large number of kids, educated people are unemployed because the job has not been created. And as they are the first generation learner, so always a job which is available in the market. So to compete with city smart kids and to score or get a job, it also is a challenging in the next level challenge, right? So eventually what we have done is there is a problem on educational problem, and then we have made the people educated. Now another problem unfolded, right? So we started a kind of a Mukti Institute of Technologies, especially of dealing how using technology, and that's exactly is very much correlated to the subject of the books. So how the technology teaching to these unemployed kids, they can manage a handful of job over here. So Vocational Institute we started. So that way we progress, and thanks to Asha and Padmanava, your help also. So you are also with the program completely. Would you like to add anything in that?
Yes, I want to come back to the book a bit, because our chapter was primarily on the sustainable development through holistic education. can you give a little bit of, so in the book, like we have written like this, these are the challenges, these are the solutions, and this is the way forward. Can you just mention, let's say, 3 basic challenges why, you felt that education can be key to come out if, can be the game changer here, right? Why you choose education, not something else?
Oh, it's very interesting, yeah. And then actually, I was studying myself, and then I thought I broke the circle of the poverty, right, and the challenges of Sundarban. Whatever challenges Sundarban's people are facing or used to face, I used to face the same problem, right? But I broke the cycle and I came out, and that was only possible because of the education. Whatever was available, or maybe I was very sincere, or I get support from somebody, and then so that we made a kind of a key. So if we can make someone who are in a vicious cycle of poverty, and then if we can educate them, then they can trigger and break out of the cycle and then come out, and they can go out of that. So that exactly is happening. And in addition to that, I would say that the problem is actually multifold, not just one-fold. Environmental challenges are huge in Sundarban, and livelihood challenge, of course, we have a huge, and then because of the livelihood challenge, the education rate also is going. And health infrastructures are also is actually jeopardized. So and making development, say for example, getting a job, you need educations. If we can make any sustainable development, it's mean you have to take care of the environmental part as well, because it's an ecologically very fragile area, Sundarban. And if we make any development over there which is not taken care from that angle, that also is not sustainable, right? And also, as you know, if the people are educated, if you give only handful of money, they cannot hold the money. That money also they'll be losing money over the time, unless we are giving the awareness and education enough to the people. So these are the trigger points. So that's why the education, we thought that it's must required. And also is not just education, the technology educations, and then using technology also in education field. I'll come for that part also. And probably Padmanava, you can touch upon that one, that education 4.0 paper, probably you and me, we wrote that exactly how the future education state, and especially remote place like Sundarban, where the normal education infrastructure, quality of teaching, teacher-student ratio, everything is compromised. How the technology, especially the current technology, can help them, and the next generation of education model may come up. We given a thought on that, so you can spend some light on that. Probably that will also help, and it will also very much correlated with the subject of the book.
Yes, the primary goal that we mentioned in Education 4.0, so it's 4.0 because of, like we usually also talk about Industry 4.0 right now, but it's the different versions of the education. So in the new version 4.0, the goal is primarily to leverage the technology, and also the fact that everybody is connected to the internet. And one of the basic challenges, as you can understand, in a place like Sundarban, is the accessibility. So if we just base our education from an in-person teaching, then the teachers are not readily available in remote corners of Sundarbans, right? So we have to somehow break that challenge. And also, if it's in a village of, let's say, 50 kids or 100 kids, then we cannot have very highly educated teacher in place in the local school, right? So, but it's much easier to have a, let's say, tower, and then connect them to internet, and then that's how we thought about the Education 4.0, right? That we have like a little bit of advanced way of judging, or I would say that grading, or like understanding the students' needs, then trying to fill it with, let's say, someone like a guide, but not a full-time teacher. And then we have a full-time teacher, and we try to make sure that the students and teachers and the guide are well connected all the time. And then with some additional advanced.
And then everything using the latest technology.
Yes,
so
using the latest technology and some software, we can program that, and we can facilitate. It's less about facilitate the teaching and facilitate the students, so that a student coming from a, let's say, first generation learner is not disadvantaged, is not underprivileged in the sense of getting a quality education. So of course a online education can never replace an in-person education, but an online education can assist the in-person education and can fill the gaps where the presence of a well-trained teacher is.
So thank you very much, Padmanava. We have a full phase, in fact, one more video on Education 4.0. So I'd request the audience, if they are interested, they can watch on it, or there is a paper also they can go through in details where we have discussed over there. So this is exactly now we are correlating about using technology entrepreneurship and the sustainable development, and how the sustainable development, technology, and also the education, so holistically we are actually taking it together to make a sustainable development. And I will touch upon another one interesting study for all of you. When we are doing this, we came to know in one of the state in India, Kerala, use this after independence of India. They use this. That time their human index, development index, and human satisfaction and various other development parameters and education rate almost kind of in average level of India. Then they started investing more and more on education development. And as and when the education development, now the Kerala is one of the educated state, or the highest education state, I would say, in India. And with the education, so other parameters of the development, various development parameters also has come up, and those are actually is kind of a developed country, the state is like a developed country state. If you go over there, you will see. So it's proved that not only the education development, but education development also bring other development up. And Padmanava, you can touch upon that Philippines model, maybe the similar one, right?
Yeah, and just to add to that, the Kerala also has one of the highest human development index, right? And it's comparable to some countries in Europe as well, and that's happened because of the education, the focus on education. But Shankar, can you light on what you call as holistic education? Because we talk about education, we are very used to, let's say, anybody who asks what is education, they will answer, okay, my children is going to school, and but the chapter is primarily about sustainable development through holistic education. What is that?
It has multi-dimensional. Holistic mean when you are talking about it's multi-dimensional, but we cannot discuss the whole thing. But two important dimensions I will discuss. One thing is that you are touching from the beginners from class 1, and then you are going for a completion of the education even for master degree. So we have program in each level. So one dimension, that is a vertical dimension. And after even these pass out, if they are unemployed, we are also taking care. So unless if they are unemployed, then they will also discourage others to be educated, right? The parent will not be encouraged to send further their kids to, because if they are not engaged and they do not see the result. That's one dimension. Another dimension is not just education and getting job. Also the education has a different meaning, right? The people, education should be holistic, mean whoever has whatever kind of capability or potential. So we have to make them flourish in such a way that they can come out with their full face and they can progress in their area. So we have to take care of their value education, we have to take care of their health education, their health, their sports, their progress. So overall, and also the environmental nowadays is huge challenge. So the environmental study, environmental understanding and everything. So this is a huge, we will talk some other time, but yeah, so this is about, and for knowing more, then someone has to read the book. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Padmanava.
Thank you for being with us.